guys so much for checking out this video. My name is Jessica. I also go by Jaw, which is Jessica Advocates Wellness. And I wanted to tell you all about my Dr. Degruy experience. So I actually had the opportunity to interview Dr. Joy Degruy for a short period of time. It was right after she finished signing books. So I know she was super duper tired and I didn't want to take up too much of her time. However, I wanted to talk a bit about what she really explained throughout her lecture. You know, our lecture was very, very informative and informational and educational and every other word you can think of that has to do with intellectuality and dialect. I don't even know if that's a word, but anywho, you get what I'm saying. So I got the opportunity to interview her, and it was so affirming and confirming the information that she shared during this lecture. It actually really confirmed everything that I'd already been out there saying in the community. However, maybe I didn't have the research to back it up. And I did have research to a certain extent, but this just took it to a whole nother level. Really an affirming, like I said, an affirming that I'm going in the right direction, that I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just making this stuff up. So during the interview, as you will see very soon here, I was actually doing the interview with my daughter in my arms. I had my daughter in my arms. You know, you guys all know I'm a mom. We do what we got to do, right? And I want you all to know as well that, you know, as long as you get the interview, as long as you get the information the way that it's intended, and that you help someone with that information, then who cares the way that it's, you know, in the moment, how it's being perceived that you're doing an interview. Now, I'm doing an interview totally non-traditionally, the way that other people do an interview, right? They want to have everything kind of set up and put. To me, I just want the education out there. As long as we're able to get into the conversation, which is happening via digital media, because whether or not you use these platforms, that conversation is happening. And if you choose not to get into the conversation, then that's upon you. So you definitely need to take the steps to get in the conversation if you choose to do so, as well as educate yourself about certain things that are happening in our community, and utilize these platforms to educate others as well. Once you know better, then you teach others what they can do. So with that being said, I actually called Dr. Degruy Joy. I called her by her first name. So I'm like, oops. I do not know you like that. I don't know you like that. I don't even know your name right now. I don't even know who you are. So if you are watching this, Dr. Degruy, I am sorry. I meant no disrespect at all. But I had my daughter in my hands and my phone was going wacky. So I was really trying to just get the information out so I can get you, if you're watching this, back to your event as soon as possible, because I promised I wouldn't take very long. So I just want to say, Dr. Degruy, if you are watching, thank you so much for writing this. Thank you so much for putting together and providing the workshops to our community, as well as I hear that you have a digital course coming out as well. So I cannot wait for that, because you guys all know I love digital media. And I feel like it's a tool that we can really use to enhance, to spotlight, and to educate as well. What we are doing and everything that's important to us, as well as our children are already on this stuff. So we might as well get right to them, right? We might as well hit them right in their pockets, right where they are. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my little Facebook Live interview with Dr. Joy Degruy. If you have not already, please do pick up her book and also sign up for her workshops. She has a couple of different workshops as well as conferences that are happening. Go to her website. I'll go ahead and link her website below. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to go ahead and make those comments below this video, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. As you guys all know, I'm a mom of 6, so it may take me a minute, but I will get back to you eventually. Okay. All right, so we have a Dr. Degruy here, and I am so excited because she has really influenced a large body of the work that I've done for mothers with depression in the African American community, and cultivating relationships with the African American lawful physicians, as well as a lot of the history programs that I bring into the school district because they don't have any. Right. So tell me a bit about how we can really utilize the body of work that you've done, and really just give it to our children, pass this on to our kids and help our children.
Well, I think, first of all, that's to be age appropriate.
Yes.
Because, it's pretty intense material. But I think in general, to help people understand how their history impacts them today,
today?
So I think it's really important that we understand the relationship that history has with contemporary life. I think this is something we already know. When we go to doctors, they ask you what your history. They want to know your mother's history, your father's history, in order to impact you in a healing way at that moment. In the same way, we have to start looking at how our behaviors, our attitudes, our thoughts are affected by our history. And I think African American history has been so diminished on so many levels that it's very, very critical as we look at the environment we find ourselves in now and the lack of information that we're finding in schools. This is absolutely critical, and it needs to happen on every level.
So
individuals,
we know
families.
the infant mortality rate is really high
Exactly.
right now. What can we do to combat some of that and help some of the mothers that are in
Well, there's a lot of research that's going into maternal stress.
Exactly.
And looking at what is causing that stress. And then if you combine that with epigenetics, you begin to understand how it's actually in our bodies. The trauma is in our bodies, and that can be transmitted via umbilical cord to a yet unborn infant. So it's really important for us to look at those things.
I've been saying this for years and years and years, and nobody would really listen to me because I don't have the PhD behind me.
Well, the data's there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
Exactly. I just have to go find it.
That. Right.
I just have to
It's
go
there.
find it.
And if you look into the information, the data on maternal stress and epigenetics, you'll see a connection.
Well, they're contributing it to sleep, you know, where the child sleeps and all that good stuff. What is your thought on that?
Not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When we start talking about stress, we're talking about, abnormal levels of cortisol.
Thank you.
In the body. That's
Yes.
in the body of the mother, that's transmitted to the infant, and then they're living in environments that are stressful, which basically exacerbate it. And it shows itself in learning difficulties, in concentration, in outbursts. All of those things happen as a result of excessive levels of cortisol. So it shows up, in people's daily lives.
Yeah, so we have a bit, you're doing some online courses and things to that effect. So tell us how we can use, because that's how I found out about you.
Oh,
It's by
okay.
watching a YouTube video.
Right.
And then I kept watching and watching and watching, and
Well,
that's how I learned.
what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing an online course. I'm going to do an online course, but I'm also doing regional conferences, and the first one is in Portland,
Awesome.
end of March, beginning of April, and it's going to be a 3-day conference that ends
It's still
in
going. Let me just push the button.
activities.
Here, push the button for me. Just push the button. Thank you.
So, it really does reflect itself in not just being at a conference, but the third day is actually doing work in the community.
Awesome.
So we translate what we've learned into action directly, as opposed to sit around and, being little conference
And where can they
rooms.
sign up for the conference?
Well, you can go online, go to Degruy.com, and you'll see, and they're going to be around the country. So they'll be on the East
Wonderful.
Coast, they'll be in Midwest, there'll be one in Bay Area, so we're making certain that it's regional. So
And
that
I'll be
folks
right
can-
there with you to promote
All right.
it every way.
Well,
Thank
we'll
you
look
so
for
much.
it. Thank you.
All right.